so much on there. Okay, so like honestly, I do way more on all those platforms than on here. So like, yeah, go check it out. It's awesome. It's fun. We have a lot of fun on there. We have a lot of fun everywhere. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm still doing what I'm doing. It's so amazing. I just wanted to have a little chit chat with you guys in bed. Like, just it's been so long since our last like cozy, comfy chit chat. I've just been in such like a positive vibe lately and just feeling like really good, really empowered within myself, getting to know myself more, spending more time with myself, right? Like sometimes we forget to do that, and it's like it's so important to take the time you need for you and to just be you, to be yourself. And I've just been reflecting a lot on a lot of stuff and, you know, kind of like letting go and not expecting things either, you know, like it's just vital that you connect with what you truly want instinctively rather than what someone else wants for you or expects of you, right? Like you still have to have that part of you that you resonate with, the larger part of you that you resonate with, because you know we all have like little parts of ourselves, right? I've learned this in different types of styles of therapy that like, oh my god, I have like literally all sorts of parts of me, like the dumb blonde and the sassy loudmouth lady, and like it's crazy. It's like, you know, I never felt like a girl or a woman or anything like that, no, but you know, I do tap into my feminine sometimes, so it's like it's fascinating to connect with that more, and I've been connecting with that more intuitively, even with like the moon cycles and like, okay, the feminine usually receives, right? Like she's the receiver, and the masculine ejects energy, right? Like, so it's like when you sort of finally tap into your own power that way, it's like, wow, you finally realize who you are through creation and why you're made the way you're made and why you function the way you function. Like, you know, I've always even sometimes felt like these different characters, like that's why I love like watching movies and actors, actresses. It's like you can kind of connect through them and like portray your life in a way artistically through them, and like, you know, you sort of feel like their parts of themselves are coming out and connecting with your parts of yourselves. I told you, I'm just kind of like speaking from the heart here and just making this a random video in bed. Maybe you can, you know, fall asleep and watch this as well. Maybe it feels like you're with a friend here and like we're in a hotel and I'm in the king bed and you're in the king bed over there and we're just chatting away. Is there a hotel with 2 king beds? Oh my god, that would be a big hotel. Like that'd probably be like a luxury suite. You know, I've actually been even thinking about taking a little getaway and a little trip for myself. I have not seen like, okay, you know, like how Florida is so humongous, like there's all sorts of different parts of sitting, you can't really like authentically be you, and I feel like I'm just authentically me right now in this moment, just here in my safe space, free to be vulnerable and free to express myself and communicate myself with you guys. But yeah, like I don't want to talk in deep depth about like everything going on, because I don't like that, you know. I've decided it was just a life decision to keep like private things private, you know. I don't talk about like you know, my friends or stuff like that. Like I don't really talk about anything personal or too private, just pretty much about me. And that's why you know, I think it's best for everyone involved, because you know, I used to talk all the time about like best friends and things, and it always ended in suffering and drama, and like, you know, people don't like to be talked about online, so I just want to leave it there. I don't want to go into too much detail, but basically there have been a lot of changes is what I can say lately in my life, and I feel like God is finally bringing about the right connections for me, at least right now in this moment in time. You know, we can think so far ahead, but then it's like, okay, you really don't know what's out there. Like I was thinking last night, actually, like every year of my life, like from 1994 to 2021, and wow, every year was so different and so action-packed, and I'm like, none of it was what I ever expected it would have been. Like, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here, and you know, alive, first of all, still breathing, and gotten through all of that past crud, you know. And it astonishes me, like, that every year was different. Like, nothing is stable, nothing's the same. So for you to expect something to happen in the future, like 2022, 2023, I mean, I know I do tarot and stuff, but that's mostly like guidance and advice, and you know, I try to channel universal wisdom and my own knowledge and experience, and to connect with you, but for the most part, you know, realistically, putting those things aside, you can't predict what next week will happen. How are you gonna predict next year? Like, are you kidding me? You know, like, it's always gonna bring you, and that's why, like, a lot of people, even who like listen to past tarot sessions, I'm always receiving comments on you know, people I've done like they're booking like a year or 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and I see their comments sometimes, and they're like, Tony, this didn't make any sense at the time, but looking back, oh my God, you were spot on. And I'm like, see, you just had to give ago, but still, it was a long time ago. And I was always like, I want to be just like her. I want to have 100 million views just like her. And, you know, again, projecting what I wanted at the time as my own experience in the future. So it's like, maybe that's why I like the color green. My walls are all green. Oh my god. No, but seriously, oh. Okay. That's crazy. I didn't even realize that. Anyway, my shirt's green, so if you didn't catch what I was trying to say. Yeah, but I hope that makes sense, right? So when you visualize and manifest, try to visualize and manifest as the future you want to be as well. The manifest is a feeling, it's not just a thought expressed in human form, so you have to really tap in and connect with how you're gonna feel in the future. I always like connected with like a feeling of just like existential dread, being like hopeless romantic, you know, like all this negative and depressing vibes. And of course I got that at the time because it was like, that's what I was expecting. I always thought like rich people were miserable. I always thought like, you know, and I'm not saying I'm rich in any way. I like to say it because, you know, you're trying to manifest, right? But my point being is that, but it's not everything, right? So, and I realized that today, like, it really isn't everything. Like, it doesn't excite me. It doesn't, you know. I've had days I made like $2,500. I'm like it did nothing for me, you know. Like, it didn't bring me peace. It didn't bring me happiness at all. I just felt like worse, honestly, because I was like, there's more to this, right? Like, there's nothing to this life if it's just about that. So, like, what about the connections you make with people? What about, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just enjoying the moment right now. And breathing deeply. There's times where you feel just like letting go and just being here and enjoying what is here. And understanding that no matter what you connect with, who you connect with, it's all here. And that's what you should bring about and manifest, is what's here, right? What feels right, what you can resonate with, what you can vibe with at a certain time. Not thinking too far ahead about, even worrying about, because then that creates the energy of lack and worry and, you know, pressure on yourself. It's so much pressure. So when we act out of like a calm, intuitive instinct of what we truly feel that we will need at that time, those things, like the self-care, taking yourself somewhere, treating yourself to a massage, you're actually uplifting your vibration. And even when you're around people who are like that, who naturally you uplift yourself because you're now on the same frequency and page, and we're all sort of telepathic in a way. And people forget, like, we are the aliens, right? Like, we are actually alien beings, like, even to other creatures on this planet. So it's magnificent that we can already tap into that. Speaking of green, right? People blob. Bleep, bloop, blob. And tap into our own, what we already are, our own magnificent God-like created structure, our DNA, our well-being is just already perfect and innate in its own way, its own unique coding that emits just magnificent things. And I really, really pray one day they would instruct that more in teachings. But I think it would inspire a lot of youth to develop themselves and grow into the ultimate being that they know they are, rather than what we're struggling with today with issues like low self-esteem. And oh my god, I know I suffered so long with that. Still to this day, sometimes having an overall feeling that I don't even sometimes deserve what I truly have. It's like, or what did I do to deserve, that type of vibration. I'm doing my best to transform that into something brighter, because there are also different teachings I learn, right? Like, I don't really just have one set in stone belief. I never really did. But I do like connecting with different sources and picking up information to get a broader perspective of what people actually know, so that I don't appear ignorant and I don't I really, really value growth. I really value growth is what I'm trying to say. And working on myself to where I can be as close to perfect as I possibly can in what I view as perfect, right? Not to impress someone, not to really even impress myself. Which, how would you do that? I don't know, that doesn't even make sense. But my point being is that this is why I've done what I've done in the journey I've taken. Like, besides these videos, okay, you can learn a lot through these videos, and I'm actually learning a lot about myself even just talking right now doing these videos. This is why I've changed even the channel. I don't do just like, people always start asking me still to this day that I used to do all these makeup and roleplay videos and creative. I deem myself still creative, otherwise I wouldn't be popping content daily and coming up with so much material for you. But obviously if you do something every day, you can't emit the same energy you used to posting once a week, right? Obviously. And that's why you see so many YouTubers taking long breaks. Like, oh my gosh, like the Water Whispers Ilsa. I just watched her videos last night. I love her so, so dearly. Oh my gosh. Like, I feel like she always felt like a long lost sister or something. I know that's crazy to say, but like, I was so excited. Like, oh my god, she finally posted. And she looks so young and refreshed and like back, like she's back, right? And it's so important to take that time off when you need. I wish I could take a year off. Oh my god, I can't really afford to do that, but like, that would be so nice, that would be so nice to do that if I could. And like, maybe I could work on manifesting that, right? But regardless, oopsies, yeah, that's so important. That's part of loving yourself, and is giving yourself that time you need to get the help you need. If you need to get therapy, if you need to get on a treatment plan or something, a retreat, just spending time off with a loved one, like, it's so important. And part of my self-love is doing this channel, actually, believe it or not. Like, people always feel bad for me, like, oh my god, why do you work so hard or so often? Oh my god, you have no idea. I enjoy it. I really do. It's just, yeah, naturally, being a human being, just saying I have to drive means you're gonna bring about you having to drive, right? So again, being very conscious of our words as well. So this is a lot of the deep inner work I've been doing lately, and it's a practice, and I'm just like with any craft, I love to perfect it and to be super, super I'm trying to come across the word poignant. I can't even pronounce it. I don't even think that's the right word. Sounds like I'm talking Chinese. Not lenient with myself. Let's put it that way, okay? See, I'm trying not to say words like that, like not lenient, because then you just saying lenient is like, okay, now you're gonna be lenient with yourself, right? Just even saying the word lenient, all of a sudden you just emit this energy of laziness and easygoing and chill, which is not a bad thing, I suppose, but that's my laundry machine. It makes this very irritating noise that I just can't stand. It's like, it sounds like Dutch music. I really don't, I wish you could change it. Okay, whatever. Okay, let me focus on the bright side of this laundry machine. Actually, it really isn't. It just doesn't work well at all, and it just, whatever. Okay, the bright side, I'm glad my laundry is done. How about that if I have to do that? But, you know, we also don't want to force that either, because, again, human being, like, we don't want to force our positivity. That's also toxic positivity. So, I know I'm going in depth, but that's kind of how I like having my deep, long conversation with you. Like, I like to let it flow. And when I talk about one subject, I quickly can jump from another and another. And lately, also, I've been sort of tapping in, like, to my emotions, my feelings, and my thoughts, and resonating with what is my own thought and what is not. And I know that sounds weird, because it's like, okay, all your thoughts are your thoughts technically, but you realize the ones that you want to shift and transmute into something more better for your life, more productive. More productive. Like, there are days lately I've been feeling very low and down, and then the next day I'll feel like really good. And I know when I say that, immediately people jump into, you're bipolar or something. Like, no, obviously not. Like, we want to be very careful labeling, judging, and criticizing things and people, right? That's not the case at all, right? I used to look at it that way, but when I realized, okay, you know, if I were to start labeling myself, I'm literally, in the literal sense, restricting myself to one word and existing around the manifestation of that label. And now, anything outside of that label, that box I've created for myself in my own mind, is my life. And then I cannot see what's out there for me, the help and the guidance I can receive, the insight and awareness through what is orbiting around that box I've manifested for myself and bound and trapped myself. And that's the block we create. We create our own blocks, unconsciously and consciously. And I think, you know, it takes some diving deep to peel back those layers and realize that, you know, this life is just a construct of what we create. We're in control here to an extent, you know. Because clearly, like, we can't just, like, poof, you know, like, disappear, right? You know, there's obvious physical, tangible, universal laws and limitations, but were you not to focus on those and to be a limitless being that you are through God and universe, you realize the power. And that's where I'm at empowering myself lately. It's like bringing back the peace now is connecting with that feeling and understanding that I've done all this and I can do so much more. And again, however this relates with you, right? I'm talking about myself, but I want you to connect with yourself while I do this. Obviously, you know, I'm not just here to, like, talk about myself. That's no fun. And I can't really connect with you if I do that. So I'm only gonna speak what I can to maybe guide some of you into your own awareness and what's going on with your world, right? What's your universe? We all have different universes within us, within ourselves. So I would say ultimately that lately I've been definitely tapping into the thoughts and emotions. Like, if I have all of a sudden a bad thought, like or someone messaged me something I really didn't want to hear, and I'm like, oh, and I start to feel really low sometimes. But then it's like, okay, if I feel low, then that means that thought that I thought means that now, like, let's say you're frustrated. I was really frustrated for some reason yesterday. I don't even know why. And then I realized the frustration was not caused by what anyone said to me. It was actually because what they said, what maybe someone said to me, was projected onto me. Maybe that was their problem, their insecurity, but they were projecting that onto me, and then I didn't feel good because it didn't vibrate with what I was. So at the time, maybe we weren't on the same page, that they were vibrating on the same frequency that day, because we shift always, right? Like, we're not always going to be stable, we're not always going to be so. And there's many other underlying factors as well to this subject matter, but my point is not to get attached to what someone said, or not to get attached to how you feel about that, because your feelings cannot judge and dictate your life in general. Your thoughts can. So once you feel bad, you immediately shift that bad thought to a good thought, and then notice the changes. It may not happen immediately, especially if you're so used to processing your feelings this way, or just letting them happen, or suppressing them. It's going to take you some time. So this is what I've been self-conscious about, not in a negative light, but self-conscious meaning realizing the self, realizing what the heck is going on. And again, I knew this stuff like 2 years ago. I learned this stuff like 3 years ago, like in deep depth, but it never made sense until now. And now I'm realizing the pieces, putting them together and saying, oh, okay, now I get it. Wow, this is what I've been doing. And when you just let those emotions pass, I'm telling you, you don't need anyone or anything. It feels so much better. You just need that awareness within. And when you have the awareness, that's the first step. When you have awareness about even your own suffering, holy cow, you sort of dissipate it. Once you have an awareness, the next thing you do is to be at peace with whatever you are feeling and experiencing. So like, the other day I was like on a really long bike ride, and I just felt so sad, like for no reason. I'm like, oh my god, I'm supposed to be enjoying my day, but I felt so sad. And it was again what someone said to me, right? And it was actually, I think, a family member. Yeah, my family member said something to me. And then I was like, oh my god, I was actually like a mix of sadness and frustration. First it was frustration, then it turned into sadness, because I knew, I was like, okay, I need to let this emotion pass and simmer down, right? So I know when I finally tap into sadness that I've pretty much processed my emotions and let them simmer. And then I just couldn't stop feeling sad. And I was like, why am I so sad? Oh my god, this is like literally over nothing. So then I said, I'm at peace. Once I had an awareness that I was sad, I said, I'm at peace with my sadness. And I swear to you, like not even a minute later, so much better. Like I noticed my energy change. I noticed the shift. I felt like I could even like ride my bike more faster and have more energy, right? And I enjoyed my day more in that moment. And again, I just trapped that moment in time. I caught myself in that moment, in the present. That's the third step for me. What I do, what I've been helping, what's been helping me get through when I feel what I feel. Awareness, being at peace with what I feel and think, and both, and or both, and being in the present with that new feeling. And when you can just enjoy it and let it flow through your whole being, I need not say anymore. That's all you need, like, really. And then you keep doing that, right? It's not gonna stop. It never stops, probably. Maybe for years, maybe you went through so much negativity and bad experiences in your life that you constantly have to remind yourself, until it becomes the new you and enters your subconscious mind, because that sucker takes a long time to process. That subconscious doesn't know the difference between reality and what's just playing with its own mind, right? Like a repeating broken record, right? So until that all seeps into you, your subconscious, you truly are, it's going just taught this growing up, and that's all it is. We all are projecting our own pain and insecurity onto each other, and until someone knows how to absorb that and transform it into love, it's gonna keep cycling and circulating. And I think that's why it's so important that we spread this message to each other, and I make this video so that we have all an awareness of ourselves, because we're all connected. And you know, one final thing is not only just having awareness, but like, again, implanting it into you. So a great way to do that is yoga, meditation, but stretching, you know, exercise. You want to stretch all that from the ground down below, right? Like, you want to just circulate all of that knowledge within your whole being, because you are not just what's in here or what's in here. You are a wholesome being. And always to remember that if you go through something frightening or terrifying, remember you are the soul experiencing the body. You are literally like downloaded here like a video game. So that's a nice reminder for me, or like a virtual world, right? Like, none of this is actually like what's real, and it is real, but on a level where it's eternal. This is not gonna last forever. The physical crumbles away. This gets dirty and torn and dissolves in the earth, right? Like, none of, even ourselves, like, none of this is actually like real. Real is everlasting, infinite, right? What's up there is so we want to connect with who we are through what's out there, so we don't get so attached to the heavy, dense energies on this planet. And sometimes you can feel like bloop bloop blop, I would just want to get the heck out of this planet. But you know what? You chose to come here, okay? Everything's a choice, and when we finally realize that, it's like, wow. And I know this goes deeply spiritual, and I know I went a little bit far. I may not connect with everyone. Like, what, Tony? I did not choose to come. Yeah, okay, whatever, you know, like, whatever. At the end of the day, we really don't know what's out there, so I agree with you. Like, it's just a theory. But while we're on the subject, I thought I would go a little bit out there and maybe blow some of your minds. But I've literally talked about all of this stuff in many different videos before, but I'm just sort of connecting it all together in one video. And you guys love these deep chats. I love these deep chats. Oh my god, like, if you just had someone to like just talk deep with all day and night, like, that would be perfect, right? So, it's about tapping into what you're ready to tap into. If you're not ready, you just can't, you know. So that's why this video is here for you when you're ready. And thank you so much for watching. I didn't even expect to talk about this stuff, honestly, but this is just literally what I've been doing lately, and clearing emotions, processing them, you know, and realizing that that's not me, right? It's just not everything. It doesn't define me. They're passing and fading. Emotions even are not real. They're just passing and fading. What's real is infinite. So what's infinite? Love. Love is infinite. Love creates everything and all things. It created this camera for me to connect with you, right? Like, I started this out of the feeling of love, like love for wanting to reach out to people, and to, you know, I never really had much friends of my own. I was always considered like kind of like a loner, you know. Sometimes I felt like even like really low or down, and like I didn't have many people to connect that deeply with, and this was my only way to do it, and my only resource and tool, and the only thing I knew at the time how to do that. And you know, it just stuck with me, and I guess that's the vibration I was emitting, and what ended up working out, because that's the vibration you're connecting with. So do what you feel you love best. I just hate seeing so many people like not being happy with their jobs and their life, and it's like, I'm not saying go and quit, you know, like obviously we have to pay our bills and stuff, but what's the new vibration? You know, don't lose hope, don't have faith. I mean, don't lose faith and hope because something's not working out in the physical. It takes time. It takes time and time and time. You just have to know intuitively that that's on the way, that that's coming, but also connect with the now. It's already here, right? Like, again, not to project what's out there too far, because we really don't know. But what's here, it's already say that.